Discovery Weekly.
Welcome to Discovery Weekly, a show all about discovering new things. It doesn't matter what type of new thing, but we just love discovering things. I'm Zach.
I'm Kirk.
And I'm Matt.
And I think it's time for us to explore our bodies.
No.
And don't worry, Kirk. It's not anything horrifying, but it's just I had a weird shower thought the other day.
This is going great already.
No, it'll get better. Don't worry. No, but I heard that literally you have like hydrochloric acid in your stomach. That is how your stomach breaks down food. I was like, how does the stomach not eat itself? And so then I started to really wonder, and I looked, and we literally inside of our stomachs is a juice that covers the lining of your stomach so that it doesn't get digested by the digestive fluids in there. And there is a lot of things that you will get ulcers because that lining breaks down, so if you don't have like full coverage of everything, you can get things like ulcers and you can have a lot of problems there. But that is as far as I'll go into the stomach. It's all part of like the digestive system. There's a whole thing.
Tummies?
Kind of, because then I started thinking about, okay, but I've also read all this interesting stuff about gut biome. And so I wanted to know more about that too.
I have heard a lot about it, but sometimes it seems like it's a little bit more woo-woo than it should be. I think it's a real thing.
But I think that there's pretty strong science at this point backing this. So everybody, and there's a couple facts in here that you may never be able to unhear. So your body is full of trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungus, and it is all known as the microbiome. And the vast majority of these things are 1 on your skin and 2 in your stomach, in your intestines, I think more specifically. But what really understand how much of this there is. There are 30 trillion human cells in your body. There are 40 trillion bacteria cells in your body. We have it's just it's this crazy thing. All of the microbiome, like all the microbes on and in your body, weigh as much as 2 to 5 pounds. That is
okay. I didn't know that.
That is as much as your brain.
Like if you took that out of it,
yes,
it would just
they estimate 2 to 5 pounds of bacteria in a bowl is a great way to imagine it, so that you're horrified at yourself.
And you can eat it too.
Yeah, you could eat it, and then your biome's going to be great.
It was already in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But together, all of this functions essentially as an extra organ. It's that important to how you're living and everything. So this has been evolving for a really, really long time. And so that's why if you completely kill your microbiome in your gut, you will get sick. Like there are some antibiotics that are so extreme that it kills all of that. And literally you have to rebuild your gut microbiome or you're going to be having worse problems after that.
I just learned about that recently. And it I don't know. I did not know that was a thing, that the antibiotics were killing your beneficial bacteria. I mean, we work in agriculture and we talk about this all the time when it comes to ag stuff and soil and beneficial bacteria. So it makes sense for humans as well.
Yeah, no, some of these things just kill that entire genre of creature. And so good or bad, doesn't matter. They die. And so you literally have to get them back. Otherwise you're going to have a problem. And there's a lot of these things that probably the woo-woo part you're talking about are people kind of like putting, what would you call it? Like a Pinterest thing of like, oh, you need to eat kimchi. They're probably not, they're going to say that specifically, but they're right. There is a ton of these things in there that will help increase the diversity in your gut biome, which is great for you. They think that humans are first exposed to microbes when you are born. Literally, as soon as you're born, it starts happening. We start being covered with bacteria. And there's some evidence that says it may actually be inside the womb as well. So like immediately, as soon as we're like to a late stage in pregnancy, you are being exposed to all of this microbiome that will be with you permanently. And I remember reading an article about someone who their gut biome was so healthy that they would transfer it to other people and he would make them healthy. So like,
I remember we talked about this. It was, what was it? It was like, they would make something out of his poop, right? It was gross. It was like a gross thing.
Wasn't it a Slurpee?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Basically wasn't it?
No, I think it was
more like a chocolate shake.
Yeah. I think it was put in there without you having to actually eat it. So probably the other entrance would be my guess. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's it either. I don't know the specifics on it, but it's great to wildly speculate.
It's human centipede it.
What's interesting is now I don't know how much farther it goes, but like if it okay, so a pregnant woman has her own microbiome. I assume that can be passed on through her body to the baby, and then there's basically like a microbiome genealogy that starts.
Yes.
I heard on an episode of Radiolab, which by the way, Radiolab is amazing. They were talking about this, not as much as your internal microbiome, but like the bacteria that's literally on us, on our skin. And there's literally nonverbal communication that human beings have through their bacteria. Like when you shake your hand with somebody,
the bacterias are shaking hands too.
They're interacting with each other. It was so weird and so crazy. It blew my mind.
No, and all of this is just crazy. But here's some of the stuff that they think that it's affecting your body. It helps you digest fiber and helps your immune system be stronger. It helps you literally control your brain health. I'm just going to roll through some of these. It can affect your weight. People that have unhealthy gut biomes will sometimes gain weight at a disproportionate level to people who have healthy ones. Obviously, things like IBS and bloating and cramps and things like that are improved by having a healthier gut biome. Heart health also can be affected by it. It may help control blood sugar and lower the risk of diabetes. It may affect brain health at an extreme level. So basically, there's a lot of different ways that you can start to try to improve your own colony of 2 to 5 pounds of bacteria that you have in your stomach that helps you feel good in a lot of different ways. Eat a diverse range of foods. So eat a lot of good stuff. Apparently, legumes, beans, and fruit can help you grow healthy gut biome creatures. Eating fermented food like sauerkraut and yogurt and kefir. And also, I'm not really a huge fan of kefir. It's like yogurt milk. But
I was going to say, what is that?
It's yogurt milk. It's like it's yogurt milk. They'll usually like flavor it, but honestly, I really like kimchi and like pickles and things like that. So that'll do it.
Here's a fun life hack: if you don't like kimchi, put it on your hot dogs. It's basically sauerkraut. It's incredible.
Oh, kimchi's good. Everyone, if you haven't tried
kimchi on a hot dog,
try it.
That is a nice hack. I like that.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean, I like kimchi anyway, but that sounds like it would be good.
Yeah, no,
you know
but
what? I learned something else because I'm a Southern boy, so I make greens and stuff. And I like to put some vinegar in my greens and stuff, right? Put some kimchi in your collard greens next time you make some. Mind blowing. And it's like cabbage. It goes perfectly.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And the bonus discovery for this is just put kimchi on things and see how it goes. It's good.
Kimchi on ice cream.
It's really great.
Bonus discovery kimchi, guys.
Kimchi. Check it out. It's sick.
New album's dropping soon.
Now, granted, the first time you eat it, it may make you sick if you haven't eaten it.
Yeah, it is. It's an intense food the first time you try it, but it's worth it.
I will go not eating it for a little while, and then I come back to it, and then there's like just a little timer, and then I realize that I'm going to need to go to the restroom very quickly because my gut biome is not as accustomed to it. You have to just build it up.
But yeah, no, it's really good. So a couple more tips to help your biome: less artificial sweeteners. Eat prebiotic foods, so artichokes, bananas, asparagus, and apples. I don't really know how this one applies. Breastfeed for at least 6 months. So, I mean,
okay. I mean, if
take
you're going to twist my arm,
Helpline's telling you to do it. So, I mean, you can listen or not. It's your body. You can die if you want to.
CDC recommends. So, I mean,
it's
do what you want.
CDC. So, I mean, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Eat whole grains. Try a plant-based diet. And even if you just periodically, just eat a lot of plants. It's good. Eat foods rich in polyphenols, plant compounds found in red wine. So are you hearing this? Drink red wine, drink breast milk, eat a lot of whole foods, and then take a probiotic supplement just because it's good. It reseeds your biome, and then only take antibiotics when necessary because they can, like we talked about earlier, they can mess it up. So yeah, guys, I just want to discover our stomach a little bit.
And every now and then just go outside into a public area and just lick a railing and just get all that bacteria.
It's a real challenge to the immune system. You should
do your best to extract.
Okay, so everyone always talks about, you build your immune system, let them get dirty, like about kids. And like, if that's the way it works, then my son is going to be the healthiest.
He's essentially going to be an X-Man. He will have superpowers.
I still vividly remember every single time we would go to Disney, and we used to go to Disney all the time, he would run his hand down every single railing, every single possible thing. And then I'd look back and he'd just be sucking on his fingers. And I'm like, no, don't do these two things. Don't do either of them. Definitely don't do both of them. Or he'd be like digging in his pants and then stick his fingers in his mouth. I'm like, no. Oh, children.
I ate a dead leaf once, so that's what I attribute my immune system to.
Oh, okay. So there's a bonus tip. Eat a leaf every once in a while.
Speaking of eating leaves, no, that doesn't work.
That's perfect. I'm waiting to hear this discovery that's about eating leaves. It's so specific.
That did just make me go, I got to think of my segue now.
Speaking of eating leaves, there's something that people used to leave in silver mines back in the day, and that was jeans. In 1848, the discovery of gold deposits in California sparked the legendary gold rush that saw thousands of eager men travel to the state from across the continent in hope of striking it rich. Most did not make their fortunes, and many died trying. The Wild West was also much richer in silver that they mined extensively as well. The mines closed in 1896 when silver prices dropped dramatically. But now there's all these abandoned silver mines, and it's like a whole nother type of treasure hunting that people have started doing. Some enterprising individuals are excavating the entrances of old silver mines in California, Nevada, and Arizona, but they aren't looking for precious metals. They're digging for vintage jeans.
What?
Yeah, and it kind of blew my mind what some of these jeans are going for. Because basically, it sounds like these miners would buy a new pair of jeans in town, and they would, for some reason, I don't know why, drop their old ones in the mine.
Sounds to me like a lot of people were mining naked. That's where my mind immediately went.
I was like, why are they taking their pants off there? Why aren't they leaving their pants at their house?
It's hot down there. It's hot in the mines.
Oh, man. So there's this story that they have in here of this guy. His name was Michael Harris. And this guy was looking for something that I probably would think was even cooler. He was digging to find antique whiskey bottles. That's what he was looking for. So he was making money digging up vintage whiskey bottles, but had started to come across pieces of denim in the debris. He did a little research and was shocked to discover just how much old denim could be worth. Silver miners would wear their Levi's when working in the mines. When they got a new pair, they would either simply discard the old ones or tear them up and use them as, and they say this in this article, like I'm supposed to know what this means, lag pipes. Anybody know what a lag pipe is?
No. Did you?
No, I did not look it up.
Find out?
Maybe one of you guys can Google it while I continue reading. Okay. They would use them as lag pipes, and so plenty of denim was left in the mines. Collectors will now pay huge sums of money to get their hands on vintage jeans, and even scraps of denim can have a significant value. Levi's themselves purchased vintage style for their own collection, And so Harris quickly realized that he had stumbled across a new type of gold mine. He basically pivoted from looking in for whiskey bottles, and him and his father now sift through sometimes hundreds of tons of rock to uncover and find these treasures, which is literally denim.
Like
they found
it's
and
hard.
sold.
It's hard to find a good pair of jeans. I'll be honest.
It is hard to find.
This sounds a really hard way to find new jeans. Okay, so I did figure this out. Lag pipes is insulating pipes. So like to lag a pipe is to insulate it. So they would wrap the pipes in jeans.
Interesting. Now I do have an old pair of underwear that I had got a hole in that I use now as a shop rag for my bike because why not? I'm reusing it. Reduce, reuse, recycle, friends.
Yeah. So, I mean, one day somebody might break into your house and steal your underwear because they're worth a ton of money. If I'm basing it off this article, right?
But so they found, they sold a pair of jeans for $21,000.
What?
And then they also sold another pair for $30,000.
Wait, are these wearable jeans? Like,
or
is this like a collector's item?
Collector's item. It's more of a collector's item. It's crazy. And he has in his possession a pair of Levi's from 1873, which was the first year that they were manufactured. These have yet to be sold because now the family has kind of taken an interest in denim, and they have built their own collection and consider themselves to be archivists and historians. However, those 1873 Levi's are now worth north of $100,000.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
so I just thought it was fascinating that people are digging in old silver mines for someone's old dungarees. It's just like, what the heck?
Dang.
This just makes me want to go buy some Lee pipes and throw them in some mines and just trick some jabronis that are going gene hunting. I'm like, Lee pipes. What are these jinkos doing down here?
What was that? I'm gonna butcher because I don't remember things. What's the guy from Jurassic Park that
Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, Jeff Goldblum had a show.
First shot.
That was great. That's great. See, I knew you could do it. Jeff Goldblum had a show on Disney Plus when it first came out that was all about niche items, like things that people go crazy over. And he did one on jeans, and it was really fascinating. I think they talked a little bit about this because people like they can date jeans and stuff by just like looking at the color and the fabric. Like they can almost tell you what year these jeans were made. It's really fascinating.
What? Man,
I had no idea there was so much alternative gene like interest.
There is.
Well, speaking of alternative interests,
Here we go.
Perfect.
A Countdown Improv Festival, a festival that showcases solo, duo, and trio improv performers.
Trio, that's interesting.
Yeah. We are three people on a stage speaking. Nah.
Or speaking or doing other stuff, it's really open. It's improv.
Anyway, interestingly enough, there's a home for these types of performers. It's Tampa's the world's only comedy festival that is exclusively 3-2 and solo performers. The festival this year is running from September 8th through the 12th. And as of right now, I mean, I don't think the United States is going to change its position any soon. It is going to happen live and in person. It didn't last year. They pivoted into an amazing online only festival. It's a improv duo from New York, Justin Peters and Kelly Buttermore, and they go by From Justin to Kelly, that classic movie. And it's starting on Wednesday and going through Sunday that weekend, Wednesday the 8th and Sunday the 12th of September. And the reason why I'm bringing it up and the reason why it's a discovery is because they are accepting submissions currently. The submission window is open from March 31st. Obviously, it's past that, through June 7th. And their early bird deadline for submitting is ending here in the next 2 weeks on the 27th. And it's $35 to submit. And all you need is a little video of your group, what it is, all that stuff. And you submit and you fly out to Tampa. These two host one of the best festivals. And I've been to the Del Close Marathon in New York. I've been to the Sarasota Improv National Festival, International Festival, amazing acts. I've been to a lot of them. Tennessee had one that was really cool. But this one, these guys really know how to do it. So check it out, countdownimprovfestival.com, and you can do /apply if you want, but you can just go to the website too and check it out. And you can apply, or you can just come. It's crazy. Some of the strangest stuff you'll ever see happens.
Do you know
at this
anybody that's
festival.
going to do any shows there?
I know this one guy. I already have a few shows in there, and I'm really excited about it. I am presenting for its first and probably last show. It is Matt and Jeff do improv, but Matt recently got really bad news. That's the title of the show, and who knows what'll happen. Maybe I'll get some good news right before. Who knows?
So okay, I'm trying to just kind of visualize how this goes, because okay, if you're going to improv, you have a loose idea for the setup, and then you just kind of go improv.
Yeah. So it's literally, if anybody isn't aware, it's literally every single thing's different. We have some people that ask for suggestions of songs, and then they do like parody versions of those songs during their set. We have some that will just ask for a one-word suggestion and go and create an entire scene, an entire play, essentially in 20 minutes. And then we have, some that are just straight up like short form shows, like Whose Line Is It Anyway happening. It's crazy. They already have 35 people signed up, 35 groups, I should say. So, that's 4 days just chock full of improv. It's it's crazy. The last year or the year before last, we closed it, and we did this great set called the Magnificent Seven, where this great improviser Joe Bill joined myself and my other buddy John Lassabath. And the whole bit of the Magnificent Seven is that there's 7 people in the group, but for some reason only us 2 showed up, and then but we practiced with 7 people so often that we had to still have 7 characters in the scene. So we all played all 7 characters, and then Joe showed up because he was running late as usual, and then he just hopped in as well. It's fun.
That sounds really cool.
It's absolutely insane. I highly recommend it to everybody. It's at HCC in Ybor City, and it's September 8th through 12th. Apply now, folks.
Do it.
And I think this is a great time for us to let everyone know that the Discovery Hotline is still active. And
it is still a thing, isn't it?
We would love to hear from you. We've had a long month, but now we're feeling hyped because Matt's joining us. We're feeling good. We're feeling healthy. We're ready to go. And so we would love to hear from you. You can call us and leave a voicemail on the Disco Hotline anytime you'd like. I'm going to throw out the number right now, 813-708-9118. Let us know something you discovered, and we would love to play it on the air. And I say this because our film correspondent, KG, from the show The Pop-Up Filmcast, has called in and let us know a couple thoughts about something that Matt and I talked about last time about Nick Cage.
Hey, what's up, PDS crew? This is KG from the Pop-Up Filmcast. This was your most recent episode, and I figure I was talking movies, and I'm supposed to be movie correspondent, so maybe I should chime in really quick. Favorite Nick Cage movie? you can't really go wrong with 90s Nick Cage. You watch like Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock. None of them are like groundbreaking movies, but they're fun to watch. They're a popcorn movie. Exactly what my co-host with the most, Derek, doesn't like. He doesn't like, he likes popcorn movies. He just doesn't, he really hates The Rock. I'll be honest with you. Not Dwayne Johnson, but the Nick Cage movie. On the other hand, I will say Mandy is ridiculous. It is a movie that I've been most on the fence of. Is this good or is this bad? I really want to see Willy's Wonderland. I'm still going to watch that. Don't watch Primal. Don't put yourself through that. I did it for you. Don't watch it. Okay? And then finally, in a non-Nick Cage movie, if you're going to watch Willy's Wonderland, team it up with the Banana Splits, a movie that came out a couple years ago where they took the 70s Banana Splits characters, made it into a horror film. Well worth checking out. Anyway, gotta go. It's KG from Pop-Up Filmcast. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
So first, I want to say that I love the transcript that freaking Google.
It's wildly inaccurate.
The first line, the first sentence is, "Hey, what's up, PDF Screwed? This is Casey from the Filmcast." It's so good because it's so bad.
It's not close.
But thank you so much, Keith, for the call.
Always a pleasure. Okay, can I say something first? Keith, this new guy, Matt, we have is a perfect person to have on Pop-Up Filmcast.
Heck yes.
Think you guys would, I think you would have a great time. Reach out. I think it would be a great host. And yeah, we had a great time talking about Nick Cage. And so we've got some interesting advice here. I am still really, I want to watch Mandy, and I definitely want to watch Willy's Wonderland because it just looks insane. He did mention don't watch Primal, and I don't know Primal. I don't know which movie that is.
Oh, it's he said don't watch it, but do watch it because you shouldn't watch it. It's like a little bad treat. It's Nick Cage at his literal worst. Like, I don't think I've seen a worse Nick Cage movie. And he does some weird,
he does some weird movies. That's saying a lot, really.
It's atrocious acting, like across the board. Like, I don't know how this, like, you're watching this, you're like, that guy won an Oscar? That guy? Nick Cage? The guy who's
used to own
hunting
a castle?
Yeah. The guy who's hunting a tiger and who immediately sobered up. I won't.
Man. Okay. I'll say this. I do. My interest is piqued because I do like movies that are so bad that they're funny. We talked about Gigli too. I thought it was kind of funny. It was horrifying that they made the movie in the first place, but was it funny to watch now? Yeah, kind of. It was kind of funny to watch.
Watch Primal. Yeah. Watch Primal. Both. Zach, Kirk, promise me one thing in life. You will watch Primal.
I love horrible movies. That's kind of my thing. I just like movies that are bad. So it may be my new favorite movie. I don't know.
It might be.
No, he says that with the hugest smile on his face. Like there's no chance you'll like watching it once, but it's not going to be your favorite movie.
I just watched Monster Hunter. Have you seen that movie? That movie is ridiculous, and but it was fun. It just kept getting crazier and crazier. I'm like, what is this? What is happening?
Listen, I love Mila Jovovich. I'll watch her in literally anything.
Did you watch that movie yet?
I haven't, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
It was like rated as being one of the worst movies that's come out recently.
It just kept climbing and just got crazier and crazier. Like, what is happening?
What is this?
Because it started out like, okay, cool sci-fi movie, and then it took a turn, and it's just like, this is different.
Gonna have to watch it.
I think it had to be self-aware though. It's like it's so bad that it feels like they got self-aware and they just leaned into it. I could be wrong.
The pandemic was a tough time for everyone.
I mean, it did come out in 2020, so
which is not a good sign. There was no like. That's why when they had the Oscars this year, I was like, really? You're gonna have Oscars this year? Like, there was nothing.
Well, let's just agree to have a movie night where we watch Monster Hunter and Primal.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
At KG's at his
Chagrin.
request.
Yes, 100%. So something that's not movies is vending machines.
Maybe the best segue.
That's a good.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. So I saw this list of 10 crazy vending machines, and I think it was just from growing up. I always saw a vending machine as a magical thing. It's a treasure chest that you give money and it gives you treats. And these are taking it to the next level. So there's one in Dubai that literally is like a mall in a vending machine. It's all about gifts. So it has everything from scented candles to perfume and lingerie. And you just button and you get all these things, and it gift wraps it for you at the end. There's one that I like even more called the Artomat, which is this is a quote. The concept is the brainchild of a North Carolina-based artist, Clark Whittington. And what it is old cigarette machines that instead they find local artists to paint tiny little paintings, and they roll them up. So instead of cigarettes, you get a tiny painting from a local artist.
What?
Which is a really cool thing. There is Hello Kitty vending machines in Asia. This one didn't strike me as much as something. But the thing is, I never got the Hello Kitty thing. I don't know. It's probably just I'm not the demographic.
It's a cat. We're definitely not the demographic for that, for sure.
It's a cat.
So if you like Hello Kitty,
we get it.
If you like Hello Kitty, buckle up. There's a vending machine that's just full of Hello Kitty everything. There are banana vending machines, Dole banana vending machines in Japan. And they have basically
bananas?
They're like specifically bananas, but they're guaranteed to be in a state of optimum freshness too, because the machine keeps it cool at a temperature of 13 degrees Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit, the ideal temperature for bananas, according to some random Japanese businessman who says that that's the ideal temperature. I have never had a 55-degree banana. I've never had a refrigerated banana.
Me neither.
I mean, I guess
that's cold.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm picturing the bananas getting stuck though, and just like they're being mashed banana, just everywhere.
Oh no, this is a feat of engineering. It'll just shoot that banana right out.
Okay, you know what would be cool is how it's kind of also a little bit disturbing, but all the bananas that we eat have been gassed to make them change colors. Like that's the thing. Wouldn't it be cool if the vending machine had a green banana and then it went into this chamber and it gassed it for you and it turned yellow?
That'd be kind of awesome.
It would look cool. And you'd be like, "Oh, this is a little disturbing."
It would be like it would definitely be one of those things where you're putting pieces together about like our food supply, where you're like, what's happening? There is a vintage Coca-Cola dispenser in Mississippi that literally has the glass bottles of Coke, and they're 5 cents a piece still.
Nice.
There is a cupcake vending machine that it gives you cupcakes.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
There is book vending machines in Singapore, so that essentially you can get anything from children's titles to graphic novels or poetry.
I think I've
collection.
seen those at airports.
Yeah. Those are much more popular at airports because you're about to do a lot of sitting boredom. They'll help it out. And this is the one that made me first kind of go down this rabbit hole. There is a live crab vending machine in China and Japan. So they literally have them in little boxes. So you can buy fresh seafood and essentially as fresh as they can, because they have this thing refrigerated and everything like that. And there's even like a weird clause in it so that if the crabs are dead, you get like more crabs. So I don't know. Ridiculous.
I mean, have you seen the claw machine for the lobster place?
Yeah.
That's where my brain went immediately. How great would that be?
Just trying to grab the crabs?
Claw game.
Well, no, they have that. They have a claw game for lobsters. I've seen it at restaurants. I mean, it's usually at really bad restaurants.
Yeah, it's at places where you don't want to eat lobster.
Yeah. I mean, they're live, so I guess if you actually win, it's fresh.
4 quarters. If you
I got this lobster for $1. There is one that literally is just a fishing vending machine that has basically earthworms and minnows and mealworms and all of that stuff. So nice. That's a weird one too. And then there's a beer vending machine also in Japan. Japan is very serious about their vending machines. They go for very specialty type things. But essentially, this has a nice pour of a beer, and you can just get because it's more like a draft beer. It's not you're getting a can of beer. You're getting a nice draft out of a vending machine.
It's like a Mr. Coffee, but for beer.
Yeah, and they have since the early 2000s, people were concerned that dumb teens were like, "Oh, I don't even have to ask my friend's older brother to go get me beer. I can just go to the vending machine." So now these vending machines do have electronic driving license scanners on them, and
you can scan your license.
And were these
now you just borrow your best friend's brother's ID rather than having to have your best friend's brother.
But this was surprisingly effective because sales from some of the vending machines dropped by 50% when these things were installed.
So that's even easier because you don't got to even lie about anything. Just borrow your dad's ID without him knowing. Go get the beer and then go back home, put it back in his wallet. No one knows
until they bring in that the face recognition stuff from Apple phones, and they're like, nope.
It's like the most technological vending machine on earth. It's got scanners like Bios medical scanners. They're like, is your DNA matched?
It's like, fine, you can have a beer now.
Here's a beer.
I remember, I think one of my bad business ideas back in the day was, you remember Beverage Castle where you could just like drive in and it was like a convenience store, but you didn't have to get out of your car, and there would be a person there and they would get you whatever you wanted. I wanted that, but in vending machine form, where you just drive in, you push B300 because there's so many options, and then you just get the thing you need at your truck window level, and you just take it.
I hope somebody does that, but without actually installing any technology. It's just they have buttons there, and then a dude just goes and grabs it for you,
like
has a robot
office
arm. Yeah,
like a post office box.
They just like keep it
open in the back end.
They keep it like obscured from the mid waist level, and then up is like glass, and then below, and you can see somebody clearly like crawling around down there, and just like putting something.
Yeah, and even he comes on the intercom. He's like B300. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're like, machine, did your voice change since last time I was here? That's weird.
No.
Betty is out today.
But yeah, that's all the weird vending machines I found, and I would try some of these. Not all of them, though.
So speaking of machines, St. Pete has a local art scene that cranks stuff out a la machines.
True.
And there's a local poet and show producer and great guy named Denzel who, over the pandemic, he got a bunch of artists together and a bunch of poets and a bunch of writers together. And he said, hey, I'm going to make this poetry magazine, this literary magazine. I want you all to submit. And he did that. Everybody submitted everything. And he released his very first poetry mag called the Neptune Poetry Magazine. And this magazine is great. I just wanted to shout it out because Denzel works so hard. Everybody that works on it works so hard with the layout and everything. They are beautiful magazines. I don't know if you guys know much about or read any poetry journals or any literary journals, but this is on par, if not way cooler than most of them, because it's kind of like, it's edgy, but it's printed, it's beautiful. You Venmo the poetry magazine handle, which we'll
have that in the show notes.
But you just send $5, you get a digital copy. He can send out a printed one to you. It's super awesome. And I'm not just saying it because I'm in it a bunch of times, but the stuff that's in there is like great. There will be times where I'm like, oh my God, this local artist like James Hartzell, he's in this. That's awesome. This other person, I'll be like, oh, that guy's in this too? No kidding. I met a very famous jazz, not very famous, constantly working jazz musician who's like, yeah, I write poetry in it just recently. And I was like, that is so crazy. It's a great read. I think there's probably like 11 or 12 editions or whatever
issues.
Current issues. Thank you. So you do know journals.
I just said a word.
He hears that a lot.
But it's super awesome, and it's a great way to meet your local art and literary, like all of these great people, because he has these nice bios of everybody. And a lot of these people got affected by the pandemic and everything. And this was kind of like a rebuttal against that, against not being able to do a bunch of stuff. And they're sold at Black Crow Coffee. There's a show happening that's hopefully going to be a quarterly show where it presents all the poetry and everything. There's one this Friday at the Studio 620. That's where Denzel works. And it's just great. And I just really wanted to majorly shout him out for putting in all this effort in this thing.
No, that sounds awesome.
It's really great. I'll have to give you guys some copies.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
I was looking at their Instagram, and I like the design. It looks really nice.
Yeah, very clean. But yeah.
Well, great. I think that's all of our discoveries from this week. We appreciate you listening, and we will talk to you again next time.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.